Jesus loved to tell stories, especially about God's heart. He wanted everyone to understand just how deep and endless God's love truly is. Through stories, he painted pictures of kindness, forgiveness, and hope, helping people see that God's love is always reaching out, no matter what. One day, he shared a story to show that God's love is a home you can always return to. No matter how far you wander, or how lost you feel, God's love is like a warm light shining in the window, always waiting for you to come back. This story was about a father whose love could heal any hurt. No matter how broken or sad his child was, the father's arms were always open, ready to comfort and forgive. There was a father with 2 sons, living happily on a farm. Their days were filled with laughter, hard work, and the simple joys of being together as a family. The older son was responsible. He helped his father with the chores, cared for the animals, and made sure everything on the farm ran smoothly. The younger dreamed of adventure. He often gazed out the window, imagining all the exciting places he could visit, and the new things he could discover beyond the farm. One day, the younger son asked for his inheritance. He wanted to see what the world had to offer, to chase his dreams and find his own path.
Father, I want my share now. I want to experience life for myself, to explore and make my own choices. I want to see the world. There's so much out there I've never seen, and I want to discover it all.
The father, though sad, agreed. He knew his son's heart longed for adventure, and even though it hurt, he let him go, trusting that love would guide him back someday.
Here is your inheritance, my son. Take it with my blessing, and remember that you are always loved. Be safe, and remember your home. No matter where you go, you'll always have a place here.
The younger son packed his bags, filled with excitement, his mind racing with dreams of new places and new friends. And so, he left for a far-off land, chasing freedom and fun, eager to write his own story. He didn't look back, leaving his family and home behind, his heart full of hope and curiosity for what lay ahead. He was ready for a new life, far from everything he'd known, determined to make his own way in the world. The father watched him go, his heart full of hope and love. Every day he waited and watched, longing for his son's return, never giving up on him. The story of never-stopping love was just beginning, a love that would wait, forgive, and welcome home, no matter what. In the far country, the younger son lived like a king. Everything he ever wanted seemed to be right at his fingertips. He wore the finest clothes, ate the tastiest food, and was always surrounded by laughter and music. Every day felt like a new adventure, and every night was filled with excitement and joy. He spent his money on parties, friends, and fun. He bought gifts for everyone, paid for grand feasts, and never worried about tomorrow. His generosity made him popular, and people flocked to be near him, hoping to share in his good fortune. Life felt like an endless celebration. The music never seemed to stop, and the lights sparkled late into the night. The young man believed this happiness would last forever, and he never imagined it could end. But money runs out fast when you're always spending. Each day his pockets grew lighter, and soon, the coins that once seemed endless began to vanish. The parties became smaller, and the laughter faded as his wealth disappeared. Soon, his pockets were empty, and his friends disappeared. The people who once called him their best friend slowly drifted away, leaving him alone at empty tables, wondering where everyone had gone. Then a famine struck. There was no food, no help, and no joy. The once bustling streets were now silent, and the markets were bare. Hunger gnawed at his stomach, and hope seemed to vanish with every passing day.
Sorry, we can't help you. Good luck. The people he had called friends turned their backs, unwilling to share what little they had left.
Alone and hungry, the son realized he had nothing left. He sat in silence, his dreams of happiness replaced by emptiness and longing. The bright lights faded, and he was left with only regret. The joyful memories of the past now felt distant and cold, replaced by a deep sense of loss. He missed the love and safety of home. He remembered the warmth of his family, the comfort of belonging, and wished he could return. The world he chased had left him empty. All the things he thought would make him happy had vanished, leaving only loneliness behind. He was lost, with nowhere to turn. The party was over. Now, he faced the quiet truth. Happiness built on things that fade away never lasts. Desperate and alone, the son found himself with no other choice but to take the lowest job he could find, feeding pigs on a filthy farm far from home. He was covered in mud, his clothes torn and dirty, and his stomach ached with hunger. He was so hungry, Even the pig's food looked good to him. The slop in the trough, meant for animals, seemed like a feast compared to the emptiness he felt inside. He longed for just a bite, but he knew he couldn't take it. No one cared about him. No one gave him anything, not even a kind word or a scrap of bread. He felt invisible, forgotten by the world. Sitting in the mud, surrounded by pigs, he remembered his father's house. He thought of the warmth, the laughter, and the meals he once took for granted.
Even my father's workers have food to spare. They never go hungry. I'll go home and ask to be a servant, if only I can have enough to eat and a place to sleep.
For the first time in a long while, hope sparked in his heart. Maybe, just maybe, he could find mercy at home. He knew he'd made a terrible mistake, wasting everything he'd been given. But he also knew he had to try, no matter how ashamed he felt.
I'll say, "Father, I've sinned against heaven and against you. I'm not worthy to be your son. Please, just let me work for you as a servant."
He didn't expect forgiveness. Just a little mercy, a small place in the corner of his father's house, and a chance to start over. With nothing left to lose, he began the long walk home, his heart pounding with fear and hope. Each step was heavy with shame, but hope pulled him forward, reminding him that home was still out there, waiting. He left the pigsty behind, longing for a second chance, determined to make things right no matter what it took. The journey home had begun, and with every step, he hoped for forgiveness, for love, and for a new beginning. The son practiced his apology as he walked, heart pounding with fear and hope.
I watched for you every day, hoping you'd return.
One day, the father saw his son far off. He ran to him, arms wide, not caring about the dirt or rags.
Before you could speak, I hugged you tight and wept for joy.
"Father, I have sinned."
The father didn't care about the past, he was too busy celebrating.
Bring the best robe, a ring, and sandals. My son is home.
The welcome was more wonderful than the son could have dreamed. The father's love had never stopped. Forgiveness had found him. The father's joy overflowed.
Let's celebrate. My son was lost and is found.
The house filled with music and laughter, but the older brother, returning from the fields, was upset.
I've worked hard all these years. Why celebrate him?
My son, you are always with me. But we must rejoice. Your brother was lost and is found.
The father's love wasn't a prize to be earned, it was a gift big enough for both sons. He invited the older son to join the celebration. Forgiveness and love made the family whole again. The story ended with open arms and a joyful homecoming. God's love, like the Father's, never stops.